Alright, the hype train for Warhammer 40k, the 11th edition, is up and running with a lot of false starts and bounces and technical errors, unfortunately. I wasn't able to watch the live event due to other commitments, but even the YouTube video that they put up the day after still had all the technical difficulties. Can't you edit that out? But that rant is for another day. The technical difficulties aside, there's some cool stuff coming, I think, but the more that comes out, the more changes we see, the more concern I see online. And I wanted to talk about maybe 3 models that may save 11th edition for a lot of people. Because right now, a lot of people aren't sure whether 11th edition is going to be really good or it's going to be a problem. 11th edition is set to be kicked off with Blood Angels and Orks on Armageddon. They're already currently setting the stage for this big release with Armageddon forces coming up like Commissar Yarrick and the other Commissar whose name escapes me, as well as several Ork leaders that lead the Bad Moons. But all of this is kind of being outweighed by some of the changes they're making to the rules and strategy, especially objective markers. I've seen a lot of concern about that, especially since they're changing it to weird sizes and shapes that haven't been that way in a very long time. So we're going to be seeing a lot of this changes and concerns coming from a lot of different people online and in person at game stores. Just earlier today, I stopped to pick up some paint and talked to the game store owner, and he was very concerned about this as well. He was wondering how much he was going to have to change the terrain he has on his tables, how much he was going to have to tweak the rules and gameplay that he uses for tournaments and things like that. And he got me thinking, what things can we look forward to in 11th edition that may help us get more excited about what it can hold for us? So that's what we're going to be diving into today. And first, we have a brief word from our sponsor, me. Have you ever wanted to be part of a brand new Warhammer community that's just getting started? Well, today we're actually launching our Patreon. It's a brand new tier system and community that we're just getting started, where you can not only access all of our previous videos and get major Warhammer advice, lore accurate lists, all that kind of fun stuff. You can also join our channel's Space Marine chapter, and if you're one of the first ones on that tier, actually get your name inscribed on one of the Space Marines. That'll set you guys up as permanent members of the channel for as long as we keep this going. On top of that, there's a bunch of tiers with a bunch of really cool stuff. The higher tiers actually come with either a free shirt or a free hoodie whenever we get those and release them. So make sure you guys join us and take a look at all the cool bonuses and tiers we have, because there's a lot of really cool stuff on our Patreon. The link will be in the description below. So make sure you join now so that you can say that you were one of the first ones to join the Night Wardens and the Readers That Wargame Patreon. Hope to see you there. Normally when it comes to new editions of Warhammer 40k, the hype train is revolving around Space Marines. Space Marines are the core central focus of Warhammer 40k and are often the top sellers. So I was surprised to see that the only model they showed off was a new-ish Intercessor. They released this new Intercessor with the battle-damaged and battle-patched armor that looks okay. I am not a big fan of the helmet they picked. They could have picked any of the other helmets that probably would have looked considerably better. But it kind of ruined the mood in the end. I was hoping to see big spreads and multiple units released and at least shown in shadow or things like that, like they did with 10th edition. But instead of going with the leader of the army, they started with the least exciting unit ever. And this, I think, is part of the problem that's led to a lot of concern and doubt when it comes to 11th edition. It's really hard to watch that hype trailer and then get handed an Intercessor. All of the cool things you see, from land speeders to Vanguard veterans to a jump chaplain, really looked cool. And as someone who runs a jump heavy army, the Night Wardens, I was really excited to see the Jump Chaplain and the Vanguard Veterans. Those are 2 units that I would gladly pick up and throw in my Night Wardens. I have 10 Jump Intercessors currently, so adding Vanguard Veterans and a Jump Chaplain just makes sense. Currently, the only leader I have to go with them is a Jump Captain. That Captain is my Chapter Master, and he looks really cool, but I would love to be able to split that into 2 units of 5 with a Jump Chaplain. On top of that, my other Space Marines army is the White Scars. And Land Speeders are a big part of who the White Scars are. It's a lot of bikes and a lot of Land Speeders. But we didn't get to see any of that besides in the trailer. So I have no idea what they're going to look like, no idea what the rules are, no idea what's coming. Since then, at least at the time of filming, we have seen the Jump Chaplain. And he looks pretty cool. I'm definitely going to be picking him up eventually. I don't think I'm going to be buying the box. I'm not an Orcs player, and I don't know anyone who is. That, and I don't really want more Intercessors. I have plenty of them. And they don't really fit either of the styles of my armies. Like, the White Scars, Assault Intercessors make sense. Same with the Night Wardens. Assault Intercessors make a lot more sense than just Intercessors. So, I think I'm going to be passing on the 11th edition box, which is weird for me to say because I bought both the 9th edition box and the 10th edition box, which is how I ended up with as many Space Marines as I have. And I've sold quite a few of them too. There's been at least 4 armies that I've built off of those 2 boxes, plus filling in things here and there since. But this time it kind of lost me. I'll probably buy the Chaplain separately and the Vanguard Veteran separately and the Land Speeder separately because, let's be honest, those starter boxes usually are $250 to $300, whereas just buying them separately is probably going to cost me about $120, $130-ish, depending on how much they price Land Speeder at. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a Land Raider price where it's $100 and something. But either way, that's probably going to be the best way for me to get what I'm wanting out of my armies and things like that. But the real question is, will all of these units actually look good? The Vanguard Veterans, out of the Firstborn Marines, were one of the better looking units, and I actually contemplated buying them when I was working on the Night Wardens. But something held me back, and I'm glad it did. The level of sculpting that we've seen from a lot of the sculptors in Warhammer 40k has considerably improved and looks really, really good. Unfortunately, they did make the Jump Chaplain a little hunched still, but I think he'll still work really well and fit pretty well with my Night Warden's army. And I'm hoping the Vanguard Veterans will be the same way. So, if you're a big Space Marines fan, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the 11th edition Space Marines that will be coming out in that box. The Orcs got a little bit better reception. The boys have had several variations in recent years, and to see that there's going to be a new one with new rules and all of them getting a Shuta and a Choppa actually makes a lot of sense. And from all of the Orcs players that I know and I've talked to, they were actually pretty pleased with it. They're not huge fans of having to buy more Orc boys if they've already got a bunch, but they are pleased with the rule change and are excited about the way the units look. On top of that, getting the leader of the Bad Moons, whose name I will butcher if I try and say it, was a big boost to them as well. The Orcs have had limited selections for quite a while and have kind of been pulled into one faction, so seeing it be split out multiple times over this last edition has been a big boon to them as well. So far, 11th edition is looking pretty good for the Orcs. We'll see how their rules change, but with keeping the codex and things like that, I suspect they're going to be living pretty large, whether it be just in the quality of the models or in the rules and gameplay. I think the Orcs are going to be pretty happy with 11th edition. This goes doubly so with the new Orc boss that was released. He's been one that's been long awaited for quite a while for Orc players, along with the weird boy that was in the trailer. And these Orc variants and Orc leaders are going to be a major part of 11th edition. So if you're an Orc player, this is probably going to be your edition, so get excited. The third one is one that was actually inspired by the community, potentially pushing back on Games Workshop. Now, there's been some back and forth as to whether Games Workshop did this of their own volition, or it was from backlash from the community, and that is the Armageddon Steel Legion. For Guard players, no matter which Guard unit you play, there is always a hope that there will be more Guard units coming. More variants means more guard rules and more guard play that you can use on the tabletop. Whether you be a fan of Krieg, Armageddon Steel Legion, the first and only like me, or any other variants, seeing another one brought to the tabletop is a great hope. Yes, these aren't going to be released for about 2 years, but even just seeing Commissar Yarrick come forward and be ready to lead the Armageddon Steel Legion is a major boon. Guard kind of suffered for the rules throughout most of 10th edition until the Krieg showed up. The Krieg added several different detachments and things like that that drastically improved the Guard play, but it was still kind of rough. So with the Armageddon Steel Legion and things like that, a lot of people hope that 11th edition may be their edition. And I would tend to agree with them. I really do hope that we'll see some fixes and tweaks to the Guard rules and the units that everyone hopes for when it comes to the Armageddon Steel Legion. I'm hoping this will be a refresh of a lot of the tanks, and they kind of hinted at that with a few of the tanks that they brought forward in the preview episode as well. But I'd love to see them actually embrace it and go full force with it throughout 11th edition. So these are my 11th edition takes. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, if you think I missed anything or anything I should cover moving forward. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. And don't forget to check out our Patreon as well as my website, tylertartar.com, where you can get really cool wargaming merch or the books I write. The ones you see above me here are book 1. I have another new book coming out in June, so make sure you guys stay tuned to my social media and check that out as well. And I will see you guys in the next one.